7:30, but I'm good. I am dressed. I am clean. Here we go.
Excellent. I love it. Thank you for taking a minute out. I'm in the middle of America. I'm in Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay,
And I'd like to begin our conversation with,
go
before we
ahead.
get into your work, I want to know, 4 years ago, this pandemic began. We didn't know where it was going to go. How did you survive it and how did it change you?
Oh my God. So I was in Florida. Okay, at the time, outside. Do you know anything about Florida?
Oh, yeah.
I Okay, so I was out. So I was in a little town that called itself a city, which I'm sorry, I smirk because I'm from New York and that's a city. Everything else is something else.
Yeah.
So I was in the itty bitty place called Lauderdale Lakes. That's still, I can't call it a city without cracking up. I'm sorry. And so I'm a psychic. So I tuned in on this and I did something called muscle testing, simple applied kinesiology, and I tested myself. And since I like someone else to test me with the mask and all that stuff, so they tested me. And what I got was if I took the vaccine, I would get weak. And getting weak is not what I need.
Yeah.
Okay, getting weaker. That's like no. So what I did, because again, Florida, and I lived like in a condo thing. I was renting a condo in this community. So I went out every morning under the trees. Nobody was around, pretty much, because I guess they were hiding, whatever they were doing. I didn't wear a mask because I was under the trees. If anyone was coming anywhere near me, whoops, on went the mask, blah, 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 blah. And the way I dealt with it was I still did I'm sorry, oh, my water is outside. Yee. Okay. Can you give me a second while I
Sure.
run? And why glass? Because plastic sucks, and now you get microplastics or whatever that nonsense is that
Yeah.
is apparently all over our systems.
Yeah.
Yuck, yuck. So we did the what it called the muscle testing, applied kinesiology, and it showed that I would be weaker if I took the vaccine. And we tested for all the vaccines. There's a way to do that. That's a whole other conversation. None of them was I stronger, not a one. So I didn't do it. Plus, which, how do I say this? I have been living my life for years without medicine because I've been a vegan. No, I've been a vegetarian for over 50 years. I started ovo lacto. That means milk, cheese, eggs. And then bit by bit, as my body got ready and as my consciousness evolved, I became more and more vegetarian. And now I am mostly raw vegan. If I was near a Whole Foods, which I'm not, I'm in Costa Rica, but if I was near a good Whole Foods and they had mac and cheese with the top crunchy, yes, I would have some.
Yeah.
Okay, I know it's not raw vegan. I don't need anyone to tell me. I'm well aware of that. I don't eat meat. I don't eat chicken. I don't eat fish. I haven't in over 50 years, and I have no intention of doing so. So the way I handled that was I did stay home for the most part because I didn't know what was out there.
Yeah.
And I did do my morning walk. I don't remember if I did yoga at home because I was on and off with that. And there's a teacher I adore and found out that I don't know what happened to her, but she died young from cancer.
Hmm.
And she's like astounding. I spoke with friends. I kept up with my social network, so to speak, not social media. I forgot how to get into my social media. That's
Yeah.
how, I mean, I have several YouTube channels that I don't know how to get into. I have Instagram, a couple of them that I don't remember how to get into. I have about 5 Facebook pages because I have, how many books do I have? I have 4 books and they were all listed. Do I get into them? Not really. Do
Yeah.
I think that's smart? Not really. I'm still doing that. And that's kind of how I did it. I did prayer, I sent out healing energy, and I saw people fearful about almost anything. And so
Yeah.
what I came to the conclusion, and this isn't new, and I'm not proud of this, that many people are just running scared, period, in their lives. Period. And that very on the whole, like looking at a whole population, on the whole, It's a smaller amount of people who really look into themselves to see what's going on with them and how they choose to live their life. And more than that, what steps they are taking in actuality to live that life. If you ask them, am I always doing that? And no, I'd be rich and famous. Okay. I'm doing my best. We're all at whatever level we are. And it's because I did do those morning walks and breathed air under the trees, especially because green trees, oxygen, that I feel that I did well. That's
So
kind of how I deal with it.
yeah, no, that makes total sense. And you're obviously very healthy with what you eat and with what you do. So I think that was one of the keys of COVID. But let's get to the heart and soul of you being a transformational goddess of light. If I put you in front of a bunch of third grade students at career day and one of the kids said, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" How do you answer that child?
I would probably look at them and smile and say, I send love to people.
Okay.
I fill myself with love and I can send it to everyone. And then I would say to them, you can too. You are made of love.
So what did you want to be when you were in the third grade?
I probably wanted to be a writer.
Okay.
That was something that always called to me. I always wanted to be an artist. I thought I had no talent whatsoever, none. And I don't know your age, I'm probably a little more. And they used to have matchbooks. You remember that? We still have, and on the inside, they would be like, draw this thing and send it in if you
Yeah.
got talent and all. So I did that once. And they said I had some kind of talent. I don't remember what it was, but you had to pay. Blah, blah, blah. So I never did that.
Yeah.
I paint abstracts now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a visual artist. That's my painting back there. We kind of
I love
touched
it.
on. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
So let me ask you this. How did you evolve into who you are today? Take me back to your childhood. How did you find this clairvoyance and this knowledge and evolve to where you're at?
Oh my God. So I'm born this way.
Right.
I did not have to become what I now call a mystic intuitive. I didn't have that language when I was a kid. I have known ever since I have thoughts and could think that I was on the earth to make things better. That was my language. I'm here to make things better. Now I can use fancy, fancy terms because I've got language. And so I can say I'm here to upraise the consciousness of people. I can say all kind of stuff because I do have words. Except when I had dengue fever, which you do not want to get, which I got from a mosquito in Costa Rica. That's a yuck.
Ugh.
Okay. How did I evolve? So I remember when I was 10, I'm the firstborn of three. It's me, my sister, my brother. And by the way, if I start to cry, please just understand. My sister is in the hospital right now in Broward County, recovering from brain surgery for an aneurysm and from open heart surgery. She is now off the heart pump, but she's still getting oxygen through a breathing tube.
Yeah.
I do feel she's going to get better, but this is my little sister. I
Yeah.
say little because I'm born before her.
Yeah.
And it's okay. So I've always known stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was 10, I thought I would be of service because Cancerian, we like being of service. We like helping things grow. And I saw and felt some of my mother's behavior with my brother, who was then 5, because I was 10. Um, so in my zeal to be of help, I said whatever I saw to her. She immediately, in today's language, I didn't have that language then, she invalidated me and said, what did I know? I was just a kid. So I was like what I said was immediately squashed down. So I saw right away my mother really didn't want to hear what I had to say. I was upset. I thought that because I was aware what she was saying wasn't true, I wouldn't be affected. That was the big mistake because we are all affected by everything and we have to do our own healing work to clear it. And if you ask, have I done healing work? Yeah. Am I completely clear of everything? No, I'm in the game of allowing the clearing and the lifting and all of that. So when I saw that my mom didn't necessarily want to hear what I had to say, I felt crushed. I did. I felt crushed. My dad and I would have more intellectual kinds of conversations. So that's where I could bounce words and concepts back and forth. My mom wasn't the one for that. And I'm not sure how I evolved. At a certain point in time, how old was I? I don't think you know every little barf, barf, barf thing. I don't remember when I read about intuitives, but I wasn't 10. I was definitely older than that.
Yeah.
And we didn't have, I'm born in 1942. So I'm born before this was a language.
Yeah.
I'm part of the, I'm not even a boomer. I thought I was a baby boomer.
Right.
Apparently I'm before that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we were, okay. And I had to teach myself. I didn't know where to go to learn anything. I did not know what the word metaphysical was, and I'm natural to that.
Yeah.
So at a certain point in time, I'll use some of today's language, or maybe it's yesterday's language. I began finding more of my own community.
Yeah.
And I'm still not like everyone else, nor am I eager to be like everyone else.
Sure.
I have embraced whatever the heck it is that I am, and different people will tell you different things. I remember one of my friends, I hope she's still alive. It's disheartening to me to find out that some people I know, but I'm no longer on the earth. I am not happy about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be 82 next month, which is like amazing to me.
Yeah.
And, and her guides took me to task and they said, "You're a star seed, accept it. Be the star seed." Now, if you ask me, am I a star seed? I don't know how to answer that.
Sure.
Hey, I know there are people who go, "I'm a star seed," like it's a something. And then everybody's a star seed. We all come from the star. It's a different kind of connotation.
Yeah. I get it.
So whether I am or whether I'm not, I don't have an ego attachment to it. I know that I am so different than mainstream. That is beyond obvious. Um, and my job, joy of being, for me, is to keep evolving and to support and help as many people as I can. And when I turned, I'll just use the numbers. When I turned 80, which was almost 2 years ago, and this was in Florida, the place I was renting my condo, the woman had said I would never have to move again. I could stay there forever and a day. Her husband a year later died. Then she decided she was going to sell the place and move back to Brooklyn, blah, 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 blah. So she told me I had time to leave. And I thought, WTF, I won't say that on the show. I thought, WTF, where the heck am I going to move? The rents are going up. I don't know
Yeah.
if you know anything about Florida rent, but blah, 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 blah.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't care for the governor. We won't get into politics, but I had bleh in terms of the governor, did not
Sure.
want to stay there with some of the that he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, okay, where do I go now? So I looked at the world. I tuned in because that's what I would do. And I like warmth. I like warm weather. I like multiculturality. I like loving people. I like where I can afford to live. And despite all the work I've done, I do not get a big social security check straight up. It's less than what some migrants get. I have a smaller check. So
Wow.
you can't, when I see people, I can't live on $1 million. I thought I could live really well.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what your deal is, but I know how to do this.
Yeah.
And so I learned about the blue zones, which I'd heard of. I wasn't interested in staying in the United States. I thought, let me check Costa Rica. So, because interesting, Costa Rica.
Yeah.
So I booked a journey to Costa Rica. I stayed, I forget if it was 2 or 3 weeks. A friend had found a place for me in the Nicoya Peninsula. I went to see it. I went and saw a few things. Someone else, I had found a place also on the African Caribbean coast. And I like multicultural. Okay, Nicoya was mostly white. That's not for me. And I'm a
Yeah.
white woman. I know, I mean, okay. I like multiculturality. I've been living like that for like many years. So I rented the mi casita in Cavita, and had to go to all this stuff to get the money from the States, because you can't just give a check. Oh God, no, it's a whole thing. And then I had to live out my lease because I had stuff. Okay. And I moved to Costa Rica, not knowing anything.
Yeah.
I sold what paintings I could, gave the rest away. A few were in storage, some were in. I got art. I have art in Florida. And would I like it all to sell? Of course. Yes, I cried a lot because I've done an enormous amount of work.
Yeah.
And have I had the financial payoff for all that? No,
Yeah.
I have not.
Yeah.
Am I going to work harder? No, I don't really know, because that's not the way. And the
Yeah.
guides told me to flow. They told me that I was in my decade of mastery at the 80s. And before I could say, they said, embrace it, allow it, and be it. So
Sure.
that's where I'm at.
So who's been a hero for you in your life?
I really respected Oprah.
Yeah.
I like she came from what she came from. She believed in herself, which was more than I did. And she's made of herself what she's made of herself. Do I agree with everything she's done? No, I don't need to. But she's been a hero. I like Greg Braden.
Yeah.
I like his teachings and stuff like that. There's a woman whose name I do not remember, but she's part of the staff with Nassim Harriman, who's got, you know him, Nassim
I've heard the
Harriman?
name. Yes.
Okay, so he's an amazing physicist who does resonance. God, what is it? I was in the midst of going through all the modules. Shit. Sorry,
You're fine.
resonanceScience.org.
Yeah.
And there's a woman there whose name I don't remember. I really like her. So those would be some of them.
So what's your motivation every day to do the work that you do? You obviously have to give a lot of yourself, I would imagine. And you also have to evolve as a human being. You have a lot going on. How do you balance that? What gets you out of bed? What motivates you to do this work?
First of all, I'm living finally in a pretty place.
Yeah.
I've lived in places not so pretty. I lived in a place that was much less money, which was why I moved there. But the owners, let's just say I had to leave because inappropriate. Um, I look out my window, and when I'm lying in bed, not when I'm fully, all I see are the tops of trees. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I am in the planet. I'm not looking out, although you could in Costa Rica. I mean, go to San Jose, and that's is not what you'd see.
Yeah.
Okay, and all of this. So what motivates me is I like to feel good. I meditate every day, every day. I do breathing attunements. I teach them on your show. I'll call it show, podcast, whatever you want to call it. I can do a short one and people's energy will shift. The fact that I'm going to be turning 82 blows my mind, and then I embrace it and just start laughing. And then I look in the mirror and go, well, it's obvious you're going to, and look at my stomach, and it's like, okay, F, okay, fine, okay.
Yeah.
My sister, I told you my sister is in the hospital right now, so I send healing energy to her
Yeah.
and to my nieces and nephew. I have a daughter. I have 6 grandkids through my daughter and her husband. I need to be alive. I choose to be alive through their lives. I do not see them with great frequency. I love them. It is over $1,000 for me to fly to the States. That's a lot of money for me. Okay. And what motivates me? I like painting my rocks.
Yeah.
I can run to the other room and show you a few. Uh, you'll like it because you like color.
Yeah.
I I would like everything I've done, my books and all that, to really hit it and make the difference. There's someone I'll be working with. He's just come back to Costa Rica, and we'll see what time he has and what we can do about it. But I'm no longer like pushing myself.
Yeah.
And I'm from New York. I know how to move.
Sure.
Do you know astrology at all? Should I give any astrological anything, or it won't mean anything to you?
Oh no, well, yeah, absolutely. No, I'm hip to it for sure.
Okay, so I'm born under the sun sign of Cancer
Mhm.
in both Western and in Vedic astrology. In Western astrology, my ascendant is Aries. So if I need to move, I know how to move
Yeah.
still. Don't think, oh, 82. I know how to move.
Yeah.
My moon's in Virgo, and I'm born the year of the horse, the
Okay.
water horse. So I can be very quiet and I can. And
Yeah.
when I'm doing that, the energy picks me up and I just go.
Yeah.
Okay. It's I have a rebounder that has seen better days. So I have it outside on what I now call the veranda, what we would call a wide what do we call that stuff? Where you walk out, geez, my word just stopped. Anyway, so I jump on that.
Yeah.
If not every day, every other day or something like that, minimum of 15 minutes. I'm starting to do yoga again at Fight Master Yoga. She's the one who died at like 50. I don't know
Wow.
what the heck happened. She's like
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah.
So that's part of what it is. Now and then, I don't want to get up at all. I'm too tired because I don't sleep all the time at night. I just explained with my sister and all this stuff because I'm sending energy or I'm praying or I'm like, what the, just let it be, or I'm watching Netflix. I watched Bridgerton. I binge watched and stuff like that. And that's kind of it
So,
at the moment,
so what are you the proudest of everything that you've done in your life? What are you the proudest of?
making my daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you this. If you could get into a time machine and go back in time and see one event in human history or go into the future and see what's going to happen, what would you love to do?
On a personal level or whatever. Okay, on a very personal level, it's going to sound ridiculous. There was a guy I did not let talk to me. He was everything I would have wanted. We passed each other in the street in New York and I'm bebopping around. I thought he was so amazing that he would never really like me because I did not have a good body image. I never allowed him to get to know me. I'd go right back to that and take him
Yeah.
up on it.
Yeah.
That for sure, because we could have had something. Okay. Do I have a perfect body? Oh God, please. And I'm not stuck on that in the same way I was then. But if I were to go back in history, I would actually like to go back to the Council of Nicaea and see what in the F they were doing with that and what they changed and what books they didn't allow
Yeah.
and what was really going on
Yeah.
with a little video camera that somebody could do, because I'm not, like that kind of
Yeah.
thing, because most things that people, then you're getting the straight, what most people think are the reality is actually not the reality.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back to Göbekli Tepe, however you say that thing, that ancient edifice thing
Yeah.
in Turkey,
Yeah.
when that was put together. Who did this? I would like to see that.
Yeah.
I'd like to know who did that.
Yeah.
Okay. That would intrigue me no end. I would love that. In future, on a purely personal basis, I'd like to go forward 10 years, 15, to see how my grandkids are, to see how
Yeah.
my daughter is,
Yeah.
to see what's happening with various people. That's like my heart. In terms of global, okay, I do not remember the name of this guy, but he's someone who teaches remote viewing.
Yeah.
I've not learned remote viewing per se. So if you ask me, what do I see? I'll tune in and I'll show you, but this is different. They kind of go there. So whatever thing I was watching, they were doing a remote viewing of 2045 and 2046. And that's just 20 some odd years from now. It's
Yeah.
not long.
Right.
And apparently some kind of horrendous thing had happened or was going to happen. So I would love to be able to see that. Could I handle it emotionally? I have to really stabilize because that stuff definitely affects me. I am not immune to any of it.
Yeah.
And I'd like to be, but I'm not. And all right, the New York in me, and I'll clean my language up. I'd like to kick some people's tushies to
Yeah.
get them to move. And then, I don't know, and all that. Like, stop that already.
Yeah.
We're in this.
Yeah.
This is not a joke.
Yep.
Although I can crack jokes, but this is real stuff.
Yep.
I don't want to be a vegetarian. So I recommend when I'm guesting on anyone's podcast and they give me the little bandwidth to do it, that everybody be vegan at least one day a week for their own health and the health of the planet, that they be kind. I give away free samplers of all 4 of my books. And what's the other thing I do? I do something else. Oh, yeah, I teach a breathing attunement.
Okay.
So I would like to go forward enough to see what happened or when we could get in and what could possibly happen. In terms of politics, I'm not even going to get into how many people are still in denial and talking a whole lot of BS
Yeah.
about a whole lot of stuff because they want to make money on stuff that it's not going to matter if you make it. You're going to be dead. You're not going to be able to really enjoy what you think you've got because we've got stuff to deal with. You may not be dead, but it isn't like the water. I mean, plastics,
Yeah.
the land getting flooded. I'm in Costa Rica, which is a little itty bitty country, and I'm in you might have heard of it, Puerto Viejo,
Yeah.
on the Caribbean African coast. I can walk to the beach in one direction, I can walk to the mountains in the other direction. And I said walk, and I literally meant walk. And Costa Rica has issues with this. There are some very, very, very wealthy people, both from Costa Rica and from elsewhere, that have bought up land and want to use it for not what it was meant for. And I'm a volunteer with an organization to help stop that from happening because they'll ruin Costa Rica. Okay, they'll make it into a, I don't know, a little New York or something, or whatever they would, but it would lose the charm of what Costa Rica is.
Yeah.
I'm not saying some of it shouldn't be built up because some of it needs to be, because some of the infrastructure is like not good. And, but we don't need to be building some huge thing that I could not afford, that most people I know could not afford, and most Costa Ricans could not afford.
Sure.
That is just for like the extremely wealthy.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. So if anyone wants to get your books, reach out, hire you, learn more about you, where do they go?
call me. My
Okay.
phone number, it's 917-494-0628. It has a US SIM card.
Okay.
So if you're in the States, it's a local call, or go to the website, Audrey Now, AudryeNow.com, and send me an email,
Okay.
audreynow@gmail, but say something in it so I'll actually look at it, because I get a
Absolutely.
slew of emails and I do not look at them all. I do not.
Okay.
But if you say, I want your services, I will look. And if they do it through your show, they'll get a discount.
Okay. Audrey, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for your story. Thank you for your exuberance. Keep doing the great work.
So am I going to be actually interviewed on
We
the
did.
show?
We did. That was it. We
This
just
is
did
it?
it. That was
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I come from jazz radio, so I hop in, we get in there, and we did it. So you'll see it soon.
So my ex was a jazz musician.
Okay.
His father was world famous. That's
Excellent.
all I'll say.
Yeah. And we can pick this up. We can do a part 2. I got to run off to another interview, but I really appreciate
you.
your story. Thank you so much, and keep
Thank
living the
you.
dream.
Thank you.